Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into NFTs. They're everywhere, right? But they're also controversial.
Yeah, you see these huge price tags, and you have to wonder what's real, what's hype, what's a straight up scam.
And that's where our source material comes in, right? This book, NFTs Are a Scam, NFTs Are the Future, by Bobby Hundreds, it kind of lays out both sides.
And it makes a really interesting comparison to the early days of the internet. Like, remember those Nigerian prince emails?
Oh yeah, classic. I mean, come on, who falls for that? But
But think about it. Any new tech, especially when money's involved, it attracts those looking to make a quick buck and those who, aren't playing by the rules.
makes sense. So are we saying NFTs are like the Wild West of finance?
In some ways, yeah. The book argues that we're seeing a similar pattern, rapid growth, a lot of excitement, and yeah, definitely some potential for scams and manipulation.
Okay, so red flags. What should people watch out for?
One thing the book highlights is these NFT collections with almost identical images. They're selling for crazy prices, purely based on speculation. Oh, so it's not even about the art itself.
Sometimes, not really. It's about scarcity, but it's also about understanding what an NFT actually is.
Right, yeah. I get that it's digital, unique, but can you break down the tech side a bit more? Like, what makes an NFT different from, say, just saving a JPEG?
It's all about the blockchain.
Mm.
Think of it as a giant digital ledger. It records every transaction, every owner. So
Yeah.
when you buy an NFT, you're not just buying the image.
You're buying proof of ownership.
Yeah, a unique token on the blockchain. It's basically impossible to counterfeit because the blockchain is decentralized, super secure.
Okay, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around the value. Why would someone pay millions for a digital image you could technically just screenshot?
That's where the whole concept of digital ownership gets interesting. Anyone can screenshot it, sure,
Right.
but only the person holding that token on the blockchain, they're the real owner. And like with physical collectibles, scarcity drives value. Limited supply, high demand, prices go up.
Okay, I'm starting to get it, but the book also talks about scams, right? Like, what are some of the ways people are getting tricked?
Oh yeah, the book gives this example called the rug pull. It's where these creators fuck up a project, get everyone excited, then poof, they vanish with the money.
Wait, seriously? Like, they just disappear?
It's like a pump and dump scheme,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
in the NFT world. So yeah, education is key here.
I bet.
You got to understand the risks, how to evaluate projects. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
That's good advice for pretty much anything in life, honestly.
Right. But okay, so we've talked about the risks. The book also argues that NFTs are the future.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Scam and the future. How does that even work?
Well, think about it. One of the biggest arguments for NFTs is how they empower creators. In the traditional art world, it's all about galleries, agents, these middlemen.
Yeah, got to get your work out there, right?
Exactly. But with NFTs, artists can connect directly with their fans.
Cut out the middleman.
They get more control, more ownership.
Yeah. I like that. More power to the creators.
Yeah, and that's where Bobby Hunter's own journey is really interesting. He's not just a writer. He's built a successful streetwear brand.
Oh, right, the hundreds. Okay, I see where this is going.
He sees these parallels between streetwear culture and NFTs,
Mm-hmm.
both challenging the traditional hierarchies. It's about individuals building communities around shared passions.
That's a cool connection. So we're not just talking about owning a JPEG, we're talking about shifting power dynamics.
Exactly. It's about changing how we create, how we share, how we value things, maybe even across different industries.
Wow. Okay, so if even the skeptics are seeing this potential, this has got to be huge, right?
Well, the book actually features an interview with Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V.
Oh, yeah, he's big in the tech world, right?
Big time. He's all in on NFTs.
Hmm.
Sees them as a fundamental shift in how we think about ownership in this digital age.
Okay, so it's more than just like digital trading cards.
Way more. And it's not just about individual gain. The book also talks about Mel Tell. She's a thought leader in the blockchain space.
Okay.
And she believes this technology, blockchain, can create more transparency, more fairness, not just in finance, but like across the board.
So we're talking potential systemic change.
Potentially, yeah. It's a big claim. But NFTs are raising some serious questions about how we organize ourselves in this digital world.
Okay, so on one hand, we've got this potential for scams, this Wild West vibe. On the other, we've got people saying NFTs are going to revolutionize everything.
It's a lot to process, right?
Yeah.
And to navigate it all, we got to be careful.
Absolutely. Skepticism and research, it's a must.
Totally.
Okay, so we've established that NFTs are, well, shaking things up. But this whole idea of metaverse fashion, it's a bit mind-boggling to me. It's like, why would I buy a digital outfit that I can't even physically wear?
It's a fair question. and one that the book explores in detail. You see, Bobby Hundreds argues that just as streetwear challenged the traditional fashion world, NFTs are pushing us to rethink our very notions of what fashion can be.
So it's not just about, like, wearing a virtual dress in some online game. There's a deeper meaning here.
Exactly. Think back to the evolution of fashion throughout history. Each era had its own technological advancements that influenced how people dressed.
Okay. Yeah.
For example, the invention of the sewing machine in the 19th century. It led to mass production, made clothing more accessible. Now, with NFTs, we're seeing a similar fusion of technology and fashion.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection. But how exactly are NFTs changing the game? Are we all going to be walking around in virtual reality headsets, wearing digital clothes?
Well, it's not quite that simple, but the book does paint a picture of a future where our digital identities become as important as our physical ones. And in that future, what we wear in the metaverse, it could hold as much significance as what we wear in the real world.
So it's about expressing ourselves digitally. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around the value proposition. Why would people spend thousands of dollars on a virtual outfit that doesn't physically exist?
It comes back to the concepts of scarcity, digital ownership, and community that we discussed earlier. Owning a rare or limited edition NFT fashion item can be seen as a status symbol, similar to owning a designer handbag or a limited edition sneaker in the physical world. And just like in the physical world, brands are playing a major role in shaping the metaverse fashion landscape.
So we're already seeing big fashion houses getting involved with NFTs.
Absolutely. Brands like Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, Nike, they're already experimenting, creating digital fashion items, even entire virtual worlds where people can showcase their digital style.
That's wild. So does this mean that one day we'll all be buying virtual clothes from our favorite designers instead of physical ones?
It's certainly a possibility.
Uh-huh.
And the book even goes a step further, suggesting that NFTs could fundamentally change the business of fashion. Well, imagine a world where designers can create digital fashion items that are instantly accessible to a global audience. No limitations of physical production or distribution. And consumers could potentially own a piece of the digital fashion world, participate in the growth of a brand, or even earn rewards for promoting their favorite designers.
That's a pretty radical departure from how the fashion industry operates today. It sounds like NFTs could disrupt the entire system.
Disruption is definitely a key theme when it comes to NFTs. But it's not just about shaking things up for the sake of it. The book argues that NFTs have the potential to empower both creators and consumers, giving them more control, ownership, and creative freedom.
So it's about leveling the playing field, making fashion more accessible, democratizing the creative process.
Exactly. And this is where Bobby Hundred's own project, Atom Bomb Squad, comes into play.
You're right. We've talked about the theory, but let's get into a real-world example. For those who haven't heard of it, can you give us a quick rundown of Atom Bomb Squad?
Atom Bomb Squad is Bobby Hundred's own NFT project, built around the iconic Atom Bomb mascot of his streetwear brand, The Hundreds. Each Atom Bomb NFT is a unique piece of digital art with its own set of traits and characteristics. And owning an Atom Bomb NFT grants you access to a vibrant online community, exclusive merchandise drops, and even a say in the future direction of the project.
So it's like a combination of art, community, and a bit of a business venture all rolled into one.
Precisely. And it's a prime example of how NFTs can bridge the gap between the physical and digital worlds. Bobby Hundreds leveraged his existing brand and community to create a successful NFT project that offers real-world value to its holders.
That's really impressive. It sounds like he's managed to navigate the NFT space pretty effectively.
He has. But, as he candidly shares in the book, it hasn't been without its challenges. He talks about the pressure of maintaining the floor price of the NFTs, the demands of a large and passionate community, and the constant need to innovate and deliver value.
It sounds like the life of an NFT creator is not all sunshine and rainbows.
Definitely not. There's a lot of hard work, risk, and responsibility involved. But there's also a sense of excitement and potential that comes with being at the forefront of this emerging technology.
Okay, so we've seen the glamorous side of metaverse fashion and the challenges of building a successful NFT project. But what about the darker side of the NFT world? The book also delves into some of the concerns surrounding this space, right?
Absolutely. Bobby Hundreds doesn't shy away from the potential pitfalls and ethical dilemmas associated with NFTs. He talks about the environmental impact, the risk of scams, and the potential for exploitation.
Let's start with the environmental concerns. That's something we touched on earlier, but I think it deserves further discussion. What are some of the key issues that the book raises?
One of the main concerns is the energy consumption associated with certain blockchain networks. As we discussed earlier, proof-of-work blockchains like Ethereum require a lot of computational power to secure the network, and that translates into a significant carbon footprint.
So essentially, creating and trading NFTs on these platforms can have a negative impact on the environment.
That's the argument being made by many critics,
Hmm.
and it's not something to be taken lightly.
But the book also mentions that there are alternative blockchain systems that are more energy efficient, right?
Yes, there are proof-of-stake blockchains like Solana and Cardano that use a different consensus mechanism that requires significantly less energy.
So are these alternative blockchains the solution to the environmental problem?
They could be part of the solution, but it's not just about the technology itself. It's also about the choices that creators and consumers make.
What do you mean?
Well, creators can choose to launch their NFT projects on more sustainable platforms, and consumers can choose to support projects that prioritize environmental responsibility.
So it's about making conscious choices and being mindful of the impact our actions have on the environment.
Exactly. And it's also about pushing for innovation and finding new ways to make the entire NFT ecosystem more sustainable.
Okay, so environmental concerns are a major issue. But what about the risk of scams? We talked about rug pulls earlier, but what are some other ways that people can get tricked or exploited in the NFT space?
Well, one common scam is the fake NFT marketplace. These are websites that look like legitimate platforms, but are actually designed to steal people's money or personal information.
So you're saying people need to be careful about where they're buying and selling NFTs?
Absolutely. It's crucial to stick to reputable marketplaces that have a proven track record and strong security measures in place.
What are some other red flags that people should watch out for?
Another common tactic is the phishing scam, where scammers try to trick people into revealing their private keys or seed phrases, which give them access to their cryptocurrency wallets.
Yikes, that sounds dangerous. So how can people protect themselves from these scams?
The best defense is education and awareness. It's important to learn about the different types of scams, to be wary of unsolicited messages, and to never share your private keys with anyone.
Okay, so education is key. But what about the potential for exploitation within the NFT space itself? Are there any ethical concerns that we need to address?
One of the concerns that's often raised is the potential for NFTs to exacerbate existing inequalities. For example, if certain groups are excluded from participating in the NFT market, or if the benefits of NFTs are concentrated in the hands of a few, it could further widen the gap between the haves and have-nots.
That's a valid concern. It seems like we need to be having conversations about how to make the NFT space more inclusive and equitable.
Absolutely. And it's not just about access and opportunity, it's also about representation and ensuring that diverse voices are heard and valued in the NFT community.
So how can we work towards creating a more inclusive and equitable NFT space?
Well, one step is to support projects and platforms that are committed to diversity and inclusion. Another is to educate ourselves about the potential biases and challenges that certain groups face in the NFT space.
And as we discussed earlier, it's crucial to amplify the voices of those who are often marginalized or underrepresented in this space.
Exactly. It's about creating a more welcoming and inclusive environment where everyone has the opportunity to participate and thrive.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this discussion. We've talked about the potential benefits of NFTs, the risks involved, and the ethical considerations that we need to address. It's clear that this is a complex and rapidly evolving space, but I think the book does a great job of presenting a balanced and nuanced perspective on the whole NFT phenomenon.
I agree. It's not about blindly embracing or rejecting NFTs. It's about understanding the technology, the opportunities, and the challenges. And it's about having informed and critical conversations about the role we want NFTs to play in shaping the future.
So where do we go from here? What are some of the key takeaways that listeners should keep in mind as they continue to explore the world of NFTs?
I think one of the most important things is to remember that NFTs are not a magic bullet. They're not going to solve all of our problems. But they do offer some exciting possibilities.
So we should approach NFTs with a sense of cautious optimism.
Exactly. Be open to the possibilities, but also be aware of the risks. Do your research, educate yourself, and engage in critical thinking.
And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask questions and challenge assumptions.
Absolutely. The NFT space is still very much in its infancy, and there's a lot that we're still learning. But by having these conversations and engaging in thoughtful discussions, we can help shape the future of this technology in a positive and responsible way.
Well said. Now that we've explored the broader context of NFTs, I think it's time to zoom in on a specific example that really embodies the creative potential and community-driven spirit of this space. And what better example than Bobby Hundred's own project, Atom Bomb Squad?
Let's dive into that next. The story of Atom Bomb Squad is a fascinating case study that illustrates both the opportunities and the challenges of building a successful NFT project.
So we've talked about the potential of NFTs and some of the concerns. But now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, a real-world project, Atom Bomb Squad, Bobby Hundred's own creation.
It's a fascinating case study. It really shows how a brand with a strong legacy can use NFTs to connect with their audience in a whole new way.
And it seems like Bobby Hundreds was really deliberate about building on the Hundreds' existing brand and community.
Oh, absolutely. He talks about how he wanted to create something that would resonate with longtime fans, but also bring in a new generation, new collectors and enthusiasts.
So how did he go about doing that? What makes Atom Bomb Squad unique?
Well, first off, the project is centered around Atom Bomb. That's the Hundreds mascot. It's a character that's already got a lot of cultural weight, a built-in fan base.
So he's tapping into that nostalgia, that brand recognition.
Exactly. And he didn't just slap Atom Bomb onto like a generic NFT template. Each Atom Bomb NFT, it's a unique piece of art, its own set of traits, characteristics. They went deep into the Hundreds archives, pulled out old sketches, designs that had never been released.
Oh, wow. So it's like a treasure trove of the Hundreds history?
Yeah, exactly. And that attention to detail, the storytelling, that's a big part of why people are drawn to it. It's not just owning a digital image, it's owning a piece of the Hundreds legacy.
I'm also really curious about the community aspect. We've talked about how NFTs can build community, but how's that actually play out?
Well, with Atom Bomb Squad, owning an NFT gets you access to a private Discord server. You can connect with other holders, there are exclusive events, and you can, be part of discussions about the project.
So it's like an exclusive club.
Kinda, yeah. But it's more than that. Bobby Hundreds, he's very active in the community. He listens to feedback. He involves holders in decisions.
Oh, cool. So it's a two-way street, not just like the creators calling all the shots.
Right. The community has a real voice. And that's so important in the NFT space. It's about shared ownership, working together.
Okay, now I got to ask about the money. How did Atom Bomb Squad do? Sales, value, all that.
The initial launch,
Yeah.
huge success. They sold out all 25,000 Atom Bomb NFTs, gone in minutes.
Wow. That's insane.
And the floor price, the lowest price an NFT from the collection is selling for, it's stayed pretty stable since that.
So it's held its value.
Yeah, and that speaks to the strength of the brand, the quality of the artwork, and that engaged community Bobby Hundreds has built.
But he also talks about the challenges, right? Managing an NFT project, it's not always easy.
Definitely not. He's really honest about the pressure. Maintaining that floor price, dealing with the demands of a huge community, constantly having to come up with new ideas, innovate.
It sounds like a full-time job and then some.
It is, and it's not for everyone.
Mm.
But for creators who are passionate, committed to building something special, something with a strong community, it can be incredibly rewarding.
So Atom Bomb Squad, it's a great example of a successful project. But what are the bigger lessons here? What can people learn from this?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is you got to have a strong foundation, an existing brand, a loyal following, a unique vision. You need something solid to build from.
So don't just jump into NFTs because it's trendy. Have a purpose, a strategy.
Exactly. Another lesson, community engagement is key. Don't just create and sell. You got to cultivate that community, listen to feedback, involve them.
Make it a collaboration.
Yeah. And finally, Atom Bomb Squad shows how important it is to be resilient, be adaptable. The NFT space, it changes all the time. There will be bumps in the road.
So be ready to pivot, to learn as you go.
Yep. It's a wild ride, but for those who are willing to, embrace the chaos, it can be an amazing journey.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into NFTs, any final thoughts?
I think NFTs are this really fascinating intersection of art, tech, and community. They're making us rethink what ownership means, what value means, what creativity means. And yeah, there are risks, there are challenges, but I really believe NFTs have the potential to empower creators, connect people, and unlock new ways to express ourselves.
Couldn't agree more. It's an exciting time to be watching all this unfold.
It really is. The story's still being written, and we're all a part of it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into NFTs. We hope it's been eye-opening and maybe even sparked some new ideas.
It was great being here. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in this digital world.